What's up guys, Tommy here, bringing you a Wi-Fi battle against someone called Major Maru. And looking at the team there, the main thing I'm probably scared of is probably the Ursa Ring, just because of the extreme power that thing can have. You know, guts, facades, swords dance, it's pretty damn crazy. But I kind of thought he'd lead off with his Mesprit, and you may be thinking, okay, why did you lead with Pelipper in that case? That, my friends, was the first misclick of the game before the game had actually even started. So, I don't know if you can actually change your mind once you select your first Pokemon. Like, in the team preview thing, you choose the order they come out, right? But I don't know if you can actually change your mind once you pick them. Let me know if you can, because I was a little bit worried. But luckily it did work out for me, because he leads off with Pidgeot, and being a physical wall, Pelipper can take those attacks for days. I knock off his Choice Scarf, which is always good, means I can outspeed with some of my other Pokemon a bit later. And I just go ahead and go for Toxic, figuring he might want to switch, but a Toxic on anything would be pretty good. So he brings in Mesprit here, and like I said, I was kind of fearing the Thunderbolt, so I go ahead and switch into my specially defensive Camerupt. Not that it matters, it's ground type, but he goes ahead and sets up the Stealth Rocks, so that was definitely a good play. But now that I'm in here, I figure, well, I may as well set up my own Stealth Rocks, I guess. So he goes for his Reflect first turn, and I kind of think, oh, okay, fair enough, he's a dual screener, right? Reflect, Light Screen, probably U-turn, and obviously Stealth Rock, so I go ahead and set up my own rocks. Always good to have. I don't think he has a Rapid Spinner on his team. Then again, neither do I. I guess there aren't really that many good Rapid Spinners in the NU tier, but now I go for Lava Plume. I kind of wanted a bit more damage on him because I knew, okay, his last move is probably U-turn, just so he has some kind of offensive move, and I may as well save Roar until he actually does U-turn, so I can get some more rocks damage on whatever he brings in. So that's what I'm going to do. He U-turns out and goes ahead and goes into his Flareon. Especially defensive, I'm assuming. Though I'm not entirely sure, so you can never really tell with some of these Pokemon. Like, I mean, Mantine's probably going to be specially defensive. I don't really think it can do much else, but yeah, I guess Flareon's a pretty good special wall as well, so it does let me get a bit more damage on his Mantine as well, though, roaring him out into that, so that is always good. Two walls, both weak to Stealth Rocks, but I guess I'm not really much better off since Pelipper is as well, so. But he goes for a Toxic here. Definitely not good to have on your Pelipper. But I think next turn I decide to go for a Roost. I can't really do much to this guy. I mean, I do have Toxic, but I kind of thought he might want to switch out just because he might not want to risk the Toxic on his Mantine. So, yeah, I go for a Roost just to get back a bit more health, and then I think I switch out next turn just because there's really not much I can do to this guy as he goes for a Confuse Ray. That definitely works out for me because I'm not really planning on staying in anyway, but hey, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Water Flying versus Water Flying, both walls. It's pretty damn awesome. I mentioned this in the last commentary, but having like a flying type as a wall isn't probably the best of ideas, but I mean, these two Pokemon do prove that it is pretty viable in some situations. Physical wall versus special wall. They're good Pokemon anyways. But now he switches as I switch into my Vileplume. I wasn't really predicting this. I don't know if he predicted me to switch or what, but that kind of works out for him. Now, I really thought he'd be like a Guts variant. I could have just stayed in and, you know, gone for a Sludge Bomb or something. That would have been the safer play, but I kind of thought, well, if he's a Guts variant, he might kill me with a Facade, so I don't really feel like risking it. But apparently this one is a Quick Feet variant, or maybe it's not, and he just wants extra power. I have no idea. But I go into Pelipper here thinking, oh, I'll just take the attack and switch into something else, right? But he gets up a Swords Dance here. That's definitely not good for me, and, you know, a +2 Facade from an Ursa Ring. Definitely going to take out Pelipper there. So I've got to pick something to bring in here. I do have priority on this team in the form of my Skuntank. I can just go for a Sucker Punch. I kind of doubted that it would kill, but I thought, well, let's get a bit more damage on him anyway. Don't really mind sacrificing Skuntank if he does manage to live this and, you know, finish me off with a close combat, as he does. Luckily for me, Skuntank does have the Aftermath ability, or Aftermath, however you say that. Sounds a bit weird in my accent, but that and... was he Life Orb? Nah, Toxic Orb. Well, he would have died to poison anyway, but... yep, now I'm going to bring in Jynx. It is my choice Spectre of the team, so I thought, well, I can, you know, maybe trick something, or go for an Ice Beam, Psychic, whatever. Just whatever he brings out, Jynx should be able to do some pretty good damage to it. Now out comes Flareon. I kind of thought the Psychic would kill, otherwise I probably would have switched out fearing him going for Lava Plume or something, but it definitely works out for me there because he goes for the Heal Bell, and that is definitely good for me. And he tries to protect to, you know, get a bit more health back, whatever. I guess he wanted to stay in because he knew that he wouldn't survive another Stealth Rock switch in, so there was really no point in him switching. So I go for a Psychic here just to finish him off, and that is definitely good for me because that Flareon could have been a bit of a hassle for me had he had, you know, more health, you know, maybe got up a wish or something, but yep, out comes Mesprit. I am locked into Psychic, so I really don't want to be messing around trying to kill this thing. I doubt I could, but he has an easy U-turn opportunity here. Goes for it here, and, you know, not going to do anything to Camerupt, but it does mean he gets the switch initiative here. And he decides to bring out his Pidgeot. And I kind of figured, well, I can probably live one attack from this guy, but I kind of thought he'd probably go for U-turn first turn, so I go ahead and go straight for a Roar just to get a bit more kind of, you know, damage on whatever he brings in the form of Stealth Rocks. But he goes for a Frustration here, probably predicting my Roar, and out comes Torterra. That's definitely not good for me. One, because he doesn't take much Stealth Rock damage, and two, because he will definitely kill me with an Earthquake. He actually has Earth Power, and I kind of thought, actually I might live that. I'm specially defensive, but hey, no cigar. Torterra is a pretty powerful Pokemon, so down goes Camerupt. Definitely not good for me, but I can now bring out Jynx, who can definitely threaten this guy. Go for a Choice Specs ×4 super effective Ice Beam, which is super mega overkill. Haven't done damage calcs, but I kind of assume it probably is. Well, you know, Torterra, quite bulky, so maybe. I doubt a Psychic would have killed him, but yep, Ice Beam from a Jynx, definitely not going to be living that. So out comes Pidgeot here. I kind of wondered why he did that, because I think that Jynx does have higher base speed, but apparently he has quick attack, so that kind of explains it. And to be fair, I was pretty worried at that point because it almost takes me out. Survive on 4 HP. That's how much of a beast Jynx is. But out comes Mantine here. I may as well stay in. I got nothing to lose. I doubt he has any form of recovery, so I may as well get a bit more damage on him. That does quite a lot considering Mantine's a special wall and it's not super effective, so hey, kudos to you, Jynx. Definitely an underrated Pokemon. So he's down to kind of low yellow health, so I figure, well, I can probably bring in Vileplume here and finish the job. He does have the Ice Beam, which I was kind of worried about, but, you know, Vileplume's special wall, so it can take a few hits. And he does get a crit here. Still live, because that's how Vileplume rolls, and I go for a Giga Drain, and return the favour by getting a crit on him. I don't know if that mattered or not, but, well, it probably did, to be fair. Vileplume doesn't have the best of special attacks, but yep, that's going to take him down. And his last is the Mesprit, which I will definitely be able to take out with a Giga Drain, because this one's only attack is the U-turn. So, that was a great game, Major Maru. Really enjoyed it, some really interesting pokes used. I was really glad to get rid of that Ursaring just because it was a big threat to my team. Could probably outspeed everything and, you know, obviously one-hit kill most of my team as well. So, yep, I'm really glad I bought Skuntank, but like I said, some pretty interesting Pokemon on both teams. So I thought it was an overall pretty fun and interesting game. Hope you guys thought the same. And with that being said, and that nice little accidental rhyme there, I've been William Wordsworth. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.